Hello, bookleaguers. Welcome to Book League Storytime Adventures. Get ready for the greatest Halloween read aloud compilation you have ever watched. I have handpicked only the best Halloween stories for this spooktacular video. You can skip to the book of your choice in the chapters below, or watch it all the way through, if you dare. Let's go! The scariest campfire story you've ever heard. Written by Keres, designed by Arthur Lynn. This is the long-awaited sequel to the scariest story you've ever heard, and is also written by the author of the Finn the Frog series. These stories are great and hilarious, and I will link to Ron's playlist in the description below. Let's go. The big day had come. It was finally here. The camping trip Dad took us on every year. The campsite was awesome, and fishing, you bet. But then came a night we would not soon forget. That night in our tent, making plans for the morning, we saw Dad sit up, then he whispered a warning. "There's something outside, boys. We aren't alone." Then he turned on the light of his cellular phone. It seemed like a prank. But then we heard it too. We shrank in our bags as our fears quickly grew. The noise was so eerie, a moan, then a whine. The panting and wheezing sent chills down our spine. "Who are you?" Dad yelled. "Tell us, why are you here?" But there was no answer, which heightened our fear. We heard it move closer, a low sort of growl. And then it released a most horrible howl. The leaves rustled wildly. We heard branches snap. Dad shivered and shook as his phone hit his lap. Its stomp shook the ground as it clomped toward our tent. Our chance of escape? Less than 15%. We caught a quick glimpse as the moon shed some light. What we saw made our hearts sink with terror that night. It was big. It was strong. It had 6-inch-long claws. Its shadow showed fangs hanging low from its jaws. A wolf or a bear or a mythical beast? Could we climb up a tree and be safe from its feast? No way, not a chance. This big creature could climb. Its arms stretched out wide. Its mouth dripped with slime. Screamed the beast as it started to scratch. The size of this thing told us we were no match. We clung tight to Dad, the tent twisting and shaking. With only one rip, we'd be free for the taking. Dad blew on the whistle he kept in his pack, but this angered the creature, now poised to attack. This thing was gigantic, humongous in size. Then it suddenly stopped as it heard our loud cries. Had it left? Had it possibly all been a dream? Did we actually spook it with naught but a scream? We had to decide. Did we wait? Did we run? The one thing we knew was this trip was no fun. We stared at each other, the moments like years. Then Dad bravely said, "Boys, let's conquer our fears." He unzipped the tent, and we saw his jaw drop. Whatever was out there, it made our hearts stop. We poked out our heads, then we saw Dad's mistake. He'd always assured us that Bigfoot was fake. But sitting so still, as if taking the watch, was the creature that found us, a giant Sasquatch. It looked at us hungry. Which boy would it pick? Before we could run, the beast came at us quick! Its arms reached the sky and its jaws opened wide. Huddled together, the three of us cried! Our hope was now gone, so we all shut our eyes. It was quiet and still. Then we heard it.
Surprise!
She broke out in laughter and finished her task. The one we were scared of was Mom in a mask.
What? Mom? Are you serious?
I can't believe this. Can you believe that? The whole time it was Mom. Look at her checklist. Purchase Bigfoot costume online, sneak up the campsite, make mysterious scary noises, one big howl, give it all you've got, stomp loudly, you are Bigfoot. Rustle leaves and crack branches, scratch and shake tent, suddenly go quiet for terrifying effect, take photo for proof of success, and take off mask to reveal surprise before they faint. And here is the photo she took for proof of her success.
In a world where rabbits continually devour carrots, one group of carrots has had enough, and they want to teach Jasper Rabbit a lesson. Aaron Reynolds and Peter Brown present Creepy Carrots. Warning, if you are scared of vegetables or are a vegetable yourself, please do not watch this video. Vegetable discretion is advised. Jasper Rabbit had a passion for carrots, and the carrots that grew in Crackenhopper Field were the best, fat, crisp, and free for the taking. He pulled some for a morning snack on the way to school. He yanked out a few on his way to Little League practice. He ripped them from the ground on his way home at night. Jasper couldn't get enough of carrots. Until they started following him. He first noticed something strange after the big game against the East Valley Hares. Jasper was about to help himself to a victory snack when he heard it. The soft, sinister tunk, 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 tunk of carrots creeping. He turned, but there was nothing there. Just my imagination, he thought, but he hopped a little faster. That night, as he was brushing his teeth, there they were! Jasper whipped around, but nothing. He laughed at himself, picked his toothbrush off the floor, and went to bed. Quickly. The next morning, he approached Crackenhopper Field slowly. He reached for 2 wild carrots. Nothing happened. He bit into one. Nothing happened. Whew! Creepy carrots. It was ridiculous. But when he arrived home that evening... Mom! Mom! Jasper screamed. Creepy carrots! In the shed! His mom opened the door slowly. There weren't any carrots. Not even the regular kind. There are no such thing as creepy carrots, Mom said, shaking her head. Later that night, as Jasper lay in bed, he heard it. Breathing. Terrible, carroty breathing. And there, on his wall! Creepy carrots! He shouted. Dad! Dad! His dad thumped into the bedroom and threw on the light. They searched under the bed. No creepy carrots. They looked through the closet. No creepy carrots. They opened the dresser drawers. No creepy carrots. Just a bad dream, son, his dad said, shaking his head. Now go to sleep. That wasn't going to happen. By the end of the week, Jasper was seeing creepy carrots creeping everywhere. Jasper knew his parents were wrong. Creepy carrots were real, and they were coming for him. But they couldn't get him if they couldn't get out. Jasper hatched a plan. First thing on Saturday, he grabbed supplies and headed to Crackenhopper Field. As the sun finally set across Crackenhopper Field, Jasper Rabbit smiled. On his way home, there was no tunk. There were no carrot-shaped shadows. His plan had worked. No creepy carrots would ever get out of that carrot patch again. And as the sun finally set, the carrots of Crackenhopper Field cheered. Their creepy plan had worked. They were sure of it. Jasper Rabbit would never get into that carrot patch ever again. The end. For now. Oh, bookleaguers, parents, teachers, and caregivers, get ready for a spooky tale. From Jory, John, and Pete Oswald, I bring to you the good, the bad, and the spooky. Let's go. I'm in a bad mood. A bad mood. Oh, yeah, it's true. You want to know why I'm feeling so crummy right now? Huh? Do you? Well, it's Halloween, which is my favorite holiday. I wait all year long for this very evening. But listen to this. I don't have a costume yet. Look around. Nothing works. What a travesty. Arrgh! I promise I didn't wait until the last minute. I've been thinking about costumes for weeks, and I honestly gave it my best shot. For instance, I've already tried dressing up as a ghost. I can't see. And a vampire. I can't talk. And a robot. I can't move. Everything looks so uninspiring, it turns out that putting together a perfect original show-stopping costume is basically impossible. Halloween used to be so much fun. My friends and I all get dressed up together. Oh, the memories. One year, we were a rock and roll band. The next year, we went as our favorite condiments. Oh, and then there was that time we went as a carton of eggs. We were cracking up all night. See, how can I compete with that? And that? And that? And what the heck is that? I just can't stand it. And that's why I'm in a bad mood. A bad mood with a bad attitude. Sheesh. There's only one thing I can think of that will even things out. I need to trick everybody into thinking Halloween has been postponed until tomorrow night. Yeah, then I'll have a bit more time to get my costume together. Excuse me, out of my way, please. Oof. Coming through. Hey! Pardon me. Seed on a mission here. Well, I never. Attention, everybody. Let's see. There's a big thunderstorm on the way. That's right, a storm. And also, squirrels! A herd of seed-eating squirrels is racing towards us. Yikes! Watch out! Squirrels and rain and thunder. Not a good combination. So, for your safety, please head home this instant. We'll resume Halloween tomorrow night. Gosh! That sounds spooky. Bummer. There, that should do it. No more competition, no more hurt feelings, and most importantly, no more costumes. What a relief.
I beg your pardon.
Yes, what is it?
If I may be so bold, it seems like you're not enjoying yourself this evening. As a fellow seed, in fact, as a pumpkin seed, I know all about the pressures of Halloween. But listen, Halloween is about more than costumes and candy, Mr. Seed. It's about crunching through the autumn leaves. It's about decorations. It's about togetherness. And it's about community. Look around. This is supposed to be fun. But nobody really cares what you're wearing. We're just here to have a good time. Look at us. We made these costumes in about 5 minutes, and we're having a blast. Just something to think about. Goodbye, Mr. Seed.
Sheesh. Is it possible that I've overreacted? Have I made too big a deal out of something trivial? I suppose I have been taking my bad mood out on everybody else today. Maybe nobody's really paying attention to my costume. Perhaps Halloween doesn't need to be a competition after all. Huh. Gulp. I've made a big mistake, but maybe it's not too late. Attention, everybody, me again. I have some good news. Halloween is back on! There's no storm after all, and there are no squirrels barreling towards us. This was all a big trick. Get it? Ha ha! You may continue getting treats now.
Yay!
Hooray!
It's candy time.
Ahem. I've made a big decision. I'm going to worry less about things that don't really matter. Not just on Halloween, but on other days too. I just needed somebody to talk some sense into me. Now I'm not in such a bad mood anymore. And I don't have such a bad attitude anymore. As for my costume, well, I'll figure something out.
Later that same Halloween evening.
Hello again. Check it out. I'm a squirrel. Pretty spooky, right? Boo. And, if you have the space, I'd love to join you.
Of course. You see, it doesn't take much to have a good time on Halloween. Well, Mr. Seed, I'm glad you finally got into the spirit of Halloween, and we haven't even gotten to the best part of the night yet. Take a look around.
Wow, now this is a treat. A treat for everybody.
Indeed, Mr. Seed. Indeed.
Happy
Halloween to
all! Happy Halloween, everybody. Or if it's not Halloween, just like happy whatever day it is. Like maybe it's a Tuesday or something. Bye.
I Need My Monster, written by Amanda Knoll, illustrated by Howard McWilliam. Read with permission from Flashlight Press. Check out the description for the other My Monster books. I'm excited to read this one, so let's go. Tonight, when I looked under the bed for my monster, I found this note instead. Gone fishing. Back in a week. Gabe. What was I going to do? I needed a monster under my bed. How was I supposed to get to sleep if my monster was gone? I tried to sleep, but it wasn't the same without Gabe. I missed his ragged breathing, his nose whistling, the scrabbling of his uncut claws. How would I ever get to sleep without Gabe's familiar scary noises and his spooky green ooze? It was no use. Gabe would be gone for a week, and I just had to have a monster. I climbed quietly out of bed so my parents wouldn't hear me. Grown-ups have some strange ideas about monsters under beds. I knocked on the floorboards, then scrambled back under my covers. I waited nervously. Would a new monster appear? What would he be like? Would his snorting be as cheerful as Gabe's? When I heard some creaking under my bed, I knew the substitute monster had arrived. Good evening, said a low, breathy voice. My name is Herbert, and I will be your monster for the evening. Herbert? What kind of name is that for a monster? You don't sound scary at all. Have you ever scared a kid before? Well, no, but I have read all of the best books on the topic. Do you have long teeth and scratchy claws? I asked. No, but I have an overbite, and I'm a mouth breather. Listen. Herbert's panting was kind of scary, but it wasn't enough for me. Listen, Herbert, I'm sorry. I just don't think this is going to work. It's nothing personal, but I really need a monster with claws. Picky, Herbert complained. As you wish. I'll go. There was some more creaking, then Herbert was gone. Some scratching warned me that a second monster had appeared.
Good evening,
He said in a high, silky voice.
my name is Ralph. I understand you need a monster with claws. If you would please lean over, I will hold out an arm for inspection.
I crouched on the edge of the bed, hoping to see a horrible, shaggy arm with sharp, ragged claws. Instead, I was surprised to see sleekly brushed fur with smooth, shiny claws. Excuse me, I don't mean to be rude, I asked, but is that nail polish on your claws?
Yes, it is.
Ralph replied.
I believe professional monsters should always be well groomed.
I could tell that this was not going to work either. I'm sorry to disappoint you, Ralph, but I need a monster with scary claws. Like Gabe's, I thought. I heard some more scratching, and I knew Ralph was gone. A minute later, a third voice from under the bed rasped. Check out these claws, kid. I gathered my courage and peered over the edge. The claws were impressive, jagged and dark, and razor sharp. So far, so good. I was a little nervous. Could you stick out your tail? I whispered. Sure, but don't get scared. I peeked through my fingers at the slimy tail slithering over the foot of my bed. That's when I noticed the bow. Are you a girl monster? Of course I am, she snapped. I'm Cynthia. Do you have a problem with that? Yeah, I do, I admitted. I definitely need a boy monster. Boy monsters are for boys, and girl monsters are for girls. Everybody knows that. Well, aren't you a picky one? She sniffed, and then she was gone. Was I being too picky? No. I knew that my monster needed to be well-clawed and menacing. The whole point of having a monster, after all, was to keep me in bed, imagining all the scary stuff that could happen if I got out. Then I heard a shuffling noise and some slobbering. A fourth monster was under my bed. Parry, blame Mac. One look at his claws proved that Mac was a big, scruffy boy monster. I shivered. Maybe this one would work out. Those are excellent claws, but do you have a long tail? I leaned over to see. No, my tail's stumpy, Max slurped. But I do have an unusually long tongue. Why would I be afraid of a long tongue? I asked. Oh, I don't know, he said, trying to sound terrifying. You never know when I might flick you. I fell on the bed laughing. Well, if you're not even going to try to work with me, Mac whined. I held in my giggles. I really don't think you should send me away, he warned. Kids who reject 5 monsters in one night. I did not reject 5 monsters tonight, I interrupted. My regular monster went fishing. Fishing? Maybe you just left because you're so picky. Fine, I'm out of here. But I wouldn't expect another monster tonight if I were you. How was I ever going to get to sleep without my monster? I was surprised to hear more creaking under the bed, loud creaking with scratching. I thought no more monsters were going to appear tonight, I said. Sorry I'm late, kid. Whew, it was Gabe. I thought I'd enjoy fishing, but I didn't, he explained. Those fish scared too easily. No challenge at all. You, however, are challenging, my friend. You're almost too old to be afraid of monsters. You keep me on my toes. Ah, toes. A delicious snack. The bed quivered as Gabe's stomach rumbled with hunger. Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to start the evening with an ominous puddle of drool. I peeked over the edge of the bed. Green ooze spread soundlessly from underneath. Then the bed trembled as Gabe unfurled his spiked tail. He was daring me to guess where he might pop up. I shivered. So, you had some substitute monsters tonight, Gabe said, sharpening his claws on my bedpost. Were you scared? Then Gabe started tapping. I could tell he wanted to know if I still needed him. No other monster can scare me like you, I giggled, diving under my covers and pulling them up tight. Through the blanket, I heard Gabe's soft, comforting snorts. Ha! I knew it. We're made for each other, he growled. When my blanket started to slip off the bed, I knew Gabe was ready to eat. Now, if you could please stick out your foot, he said. I'd like to nibble your pinky. I yanked my blanket back up and scrunched my feet in so Gabe couldn't get them. No toes tonight, but you can have this, I offered, pushing a pillow off the bed. I didn't even hear it hit the floor. Gabe was back. The ooze was perfect. Everything was back to normal. I shivered again. I'd be asleep in no time. The end. Kids, Gabe here. Another good tip for sleeping is to read before bed. That always helps me get to sleep. That and eating toes.
Welcome to bookleague StoryTime Adventures. I am about to read the scariest story you've ever heard.
Written by Ron Keres, designed by Arthur Lynn.
Let's go! Get ready for the scariest story you've ever heard. It's much too scary for pictures, so I plan to use words!
Bet you didn't see that coming, did ya?
Chills will spread from your head to your toes. Actually, I'm scared to begin. But here's how it goes. One dreary day in a house just like yours. Thunder was booming, and the rain did it pour. It was minutes till midnight when the power went out. The boys, they woke up with a scream and a shout. Lying in bed and certainly scared for what happened next, they were not prepared. First there was a then there was a crack. What could it be? And would it attack? Their tiny hearts began to rapidly pump. But it only became worse when they heard thump, thump, thump. They cowered in fear and hid under their covers. The monster approaching could easily eat brothers. Grrr was the next sound that he made, but the boys were confused as it started to fade. Even though the intruder went further away. This would not be the end of his haunting that day. He began to clang as he was stomping around. The boys heard a bang as something fell to the ground. Arrgh! He yelled. This could not be good, for now the boys knew in the kitchen he stood. What was he looking for? Why was he furious? As scared as they were also quite curious. Against better judgment, they got out of the beds. They stood at the door, blankets over their heads. First they heard, followed by crunch, crunch, crunch. The dog whimpered and barked. Did he get eaten for lunch? Then for a moment, things were eerily silent. If they opened the door, would the beast become violent? The silence was broken by drip drop, drip drop. Was this just a nightmare? And when would it stop? The boys had enough. They knew hiding didn't matter. As they left their dark room, there was a shriek and a splatter. They crept down the hall, preparing for doom, but were shocked and surprised as they entered the room. There he was, a spoon in his hand. This was not a horrible monster, but a familiar man.
Dad!
They cried.
What on earth are you doing?
Dad couldn't respond as he was fervently chewing. Their fear turned to laughter. With the words that would follow, Dad took a drink and proceeded to swallow.
I'm sorry I scared you. Things are not what they seem. It was all for a bowl of delicious ice cream.
And if you would like to know what really made those scary sounds, here is what happened.
Dad opened the door. Then he walked. Then his belly got all like gurgly and stuff. Then he picked up a bowl from the cupboard and dropped it, of course. Probably on his foot because he went, "Arg!" Then the slur was from the whipped cream because dads love whipped cream. I do. Then the crunch, 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 crunch from, eating some peanuts or something. I'm not sure. And then, of course, the bark came from the dog. And then drip, drip, drip from the, the ice cream. And then he stubbed his toe. That's where the shriek came from. And then he dropped his ice cream, which created the splatter. So as you can see, this was not really the scariest story ever told. It was actually the biggest misunderstanding in Halloween history. Let this be a lesson for you kids. If there's something scary out there, it's most likely your dad eating ice cream. The Crayons Trick or Treat. I love the Crayons, and I know you will too. The Crayons are ready for Halloween. They can't wait to fill their bags with treats. You know what you're supposed to say on Halloween, right? Of course we do. Orange knocks on the first door. Give us your candy, lady.
I'm naked.
What?
Oh, that was all kinds of wrong. Not to mention confusing. It's a holiday, you guys. Think holiday. Now let's try that again.
Okay, we got this.
Yeah, no problem. Green knocks on the next door. Merry Christmas!
Happy American Cheese Month. Happy birthday.
I'm naked.
Okay, it's Halloween, and we have to be polite too.
Oh, polite. Okay, we get it now.
Gray knocks on the door after that.
Happy Halloween, please.
I'm naked. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, for crying out loud. Points for good manners, I guess. It's a scary holiday, everyone. Oh, scary. Okay, I got this one. White knocks on the door. Boo!
Eek!
That's not quite what I meant.
It was close, though.
Gray steps forward again. Wait! Repeat after me. Trick or treat.
Here we go.
The crayons all knock on the door.
Trick or treat.
And also, boo.
Also, did you see my costume? It was my birthday suit.
Hey, That's My Monster. Written by Amanda Knoll. Illustrated by Howard McWilliam. Read with permission from Flashlight Press. Check the description for the other My Monster books. They are all great. I can't wait to get into this one. Let's go. Tonight, when I looked under the bed for my monster, I found this note instead. So long, kid. Gotta go. Someone needs me more than you do. Gabe. What? Gabe was my monster. Nobody needed him more than me. But someone did need a monster. My little sister Emma. Now that Emma slept in a toddler bed, she liked to climb out, roam the house, and play noisy games at night. I knew a monster would keep her in bed so she could fall asleep. But not my monster. I had to get Gabe back. I tiptoed across the hall to Emma's room. She wasn't even there. But Gabe was. I gulped, zoomed across the carpet, and leaped onto Emma's bed before Gabe could grab my toes. Gabe, I whispered, please go back to our room. I'll get Emma to sleep. You? He snorted. You're gonna get her to sleep? Ha! That's a good one. But you know what? I like you, kid. So I'll give you 3 chances. If she's not asleep, I'll be back. And Gabe was gone. Just then, Emma toddled into the room. She clearly needed a monster. Maybe she didn't know how to get one, but I did. Hey, Emma, I said, let's play Can You Knock on the Floor? Emma knocked with a dinosaur. It worked. I heard some creaking under Emma's bed. Then something sniffled. It squelched and dripped. So far, so good, I thought. This monster sounds scary enough for Emma, but Emma kept on playing. A slime-covered monster slid out. It oozed towards Emma.
Icky!
She laughed, wiping one of the monster's noses.
Icky, wipe!
Emma wasn't scared at all. Excuse me, I said to the mucus monster. I didn't catch your name.
My name is Agatha,
She said through sniffled noses.
Time for bed, Emma.
Emma giggled and wiped some more. I knew this wouldn't work. Thanks, Agatha. Nice try. But I think we need a monster with claws. Agatha snuffled. Then she was gone. Emma, I coaxed again. Knock, knock. She knocked on the floor with a teapot this time, and I heard more creaking. Then a slippery tail slithered out from under the bed. The second monster rasped,
I'm Cynthia.
Much better, I thought when I saw the jagged claws. Cynthia might be the perfect monster for Emma. But Emma blinked and said,
Pretty.
Then she decorated Cynthia's tail with bracelets.
Ugh.
Cynthia snarled.
I'm not here to play dress up. I'm here to scare you into bed.
Cynthia rattled louder, but Emma danced to the beat. I'm sorry, Cynthia, I said. This isn't going to work.
Well, I never.
She sniffed, and then she was gone.
Cynthia, come back.
Emma demanded, stomping on the floor. Excellent, I thought. Maybe that would summon the perfect monster for Emma. Tentacles swarmed from under the bed, and an icy voice called, Roar! I shrank back in horror, but Emma was enchanted.
Where's out of bed?
The monster continued.
Come to Vladimir!
Emma high-fived one of the tentacles, and the third monster emerged. I already had doubts about this one, but he was my last chance. Vladimir, I asked, can you get Emma to sleep?
Yes!
He hissed, reaching for Emma.
I can get her!
Emma giggled and hopped over the tentacles to jump ropes. Oh no, I blurted. She's not supposed to be having fun. This'll never work. Vlad's tentacles dropped. He slunk under the bed and he was gone. Sorry, Vlad, I called. Boy, was I sorry. I was about to lose Gabe forever. Now Emma was coloring and singing.
Blah, 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 mir, blah, blah, Cynthia, ya, ya, Agatha, fa, fa.
Gabe must have heard her because he was back.
That's it, kid, he grunted. You had your 3 tries. Now it's my turn.
Gabe's green ooze sizzled across the floor as he growled.
Put the crayon down.
Emma peered at my hulking, sharp-clawed monster and said,
Fuzzy.
Hey, Gabe, I cheered. Emma isn't afraid of you after all.
What?
Gabe burst out from under the bed and loomed over Emma. Steam squirted from his ears.
Get into bed,
Gabe thundered. Emma hopped up, but she kept singing.
Fuzzy, fuzzy monster.
Gabe, I said, Emma's not scared enough to fall asleep. Please, let's go back to our room.
No can do, kid,
Gabe growled.
I may not be the perfect monster for Emma, but I'm the best so far. At least she's in bed now. I gotta stay here. You're on your own.
I knew Emma needed Gabe, but he was my monster. How was I ever going to get to sleep without him? Just then, we heard a tiny noise.
Hiccup, hiccup, hiccup.
Emma froze. Gabe and I peered under the bed.
Stella, what are you doing here?
Gabe asked.
Hi, Gabe.
Stella said, tugging on her tutu.
You forgot your snack. Mama thought you'd be hungry, so she was sent this.
Who knew? Gabe had a little sister too. I thought Stella's hiccups were cute, but Emma obviously didn't. Stella sure noticed. She tiptoed closer, hiccuping with every step.
Hiccup, hiccup, hiccup.
From under her covers, Emma squeaked,
Shoo! Shoo?
Stella repeated.
Oh, shoo! That's where toes go. I love toes.
Stella crept toward Emma's feet. Emma squealed, scrunched in her feet, and giggled.
No toes! No toes!
Gabe laughed.
Stella,
It looks like you're the perfect monster for Emma. Now, if you don't mind, you can get her to sleep while I get back to what I do best." Stella nodded. I sighed with relief and switched off Emma's lamp. Then I ran to my room, leaped into bed, and scrunched my feet so Gabe couldn't get to them. I shivered happily. Emma had Stella. I had Gabe. Everything was back to normal. I shivered again. We'd all be asleep in no time. The end. Gabe here. Check out the description for more of my monster books. And like I always say, the way I get to sleep is to read. So read every night and protect those toes. In a world filled with boring everyday underwear, one pair of underwear threatens to turn Jasper Rabbit's life upside down. Aaron Reynolds and Pete Brown bring you Creepy Pair of Underwear. Warning, this story may be too immature for adults. Viewer discretion advised. Jasper Rabbit needed new underwear. On Thursday, Mom took him to the underwear store and grabbed the last 3 packages of plain white. But as they headed for the checkout, Jasper spotted them. Creepy underwear! So creepy, so comfy. They were glorious. Mom, can we get these? Jasper pleaded. I think they're a little too creepy, said Mom. They're not creepy, they're cool, said Jasper. I'm not a little bunny anymore. I'm a big rabbit now. Mom agreed to buy 1 pair. That night, Jasper wore his cool new underwear to bed. Do you want me to leave the hallway light on? Asked Dad. Dad, I'm not a little bunny anymore, said Jasper. I'm a big rabbit now. His dad shut the door, and that's when Jasper noticed. The underwear glowed, a ghoulish greenish glow. He closed his eyes, he pulled up the covers, he buried his face in his pillow, but it didn't help. He could still see the ghoulish greenish glow. Jasper leaped out of bed and put on a pair of plain white. He stuffed the creepy underwear into the bottom of his laundry hamper. He finally fell asleep. But when he got up the next day, he was wearing the creepy underwear. Jasper threw them into the garbage can. He was still a big rabbit. He wasn't scared or anything, but he was done with scary underwear. After school, Jasper was doing his homework when he heard it, a scratchy scraping sound coming from his dresser. He opened the drawer and they were back, staring at him with that ghoulish greenish glow. He snatched the creepy underwear out of the drawer. He grabbed a big envelope and some stamps. Bye-bye, scary underwear, he said, dropping the package in the mailbox. When he opened the front door the next morning, there they were. And were those chopsticks? His creepy pair of underwear somehow returned from China, and it had brought back souvenirs. Jasper grabbed his mom's good sewing scissors. She didn't like him using them, but this was an underwear emergency. This time, the creepy underwear were gone for good. At bedtime, he slowly opened the underwear drawer. Nothing, just plain white undies. He searched under his bed. He shook out the lampshades. Whew! There was no sign of creepy underwear. He went into the bathroom to comb his ears. They were back! What's the matter with you? His mom asked. You're so jittery lately."
"Nothing," he yelped. A grown rabbit couldn't be terrified of his underpants. He seized the underwear. He snagged his shovel from the garage and he rode. He didn't stop pedaling until he reached Creek Hanger Hill. Jasper began to dig. He dug until his hole was dark and deep and 100% underwear proof. He dropped the underwear in. They gleamed from the bottom, that ghoulish greenish glow, but not for long. When he got home, Jasper crept up to his dresser. They couldn't be in there. There was no way, right? He reached for the handle. He peeked in. Nothing. Just plain white. Jasper smiled and turned out the light. There was just one problem. It was really dark in there, even for a big rabbit. Jasper turned on the light. He looked at his non-glowy pair of plain white, and he knew what he had to do. The creepy underwear were a little muddy, but they still filled the room with the gentle greenish glow. The next day, Jasper gathered his allowance money and went to the underwear store all by himself, just like a big rabbit. That night, Jasper wasn't scared at all. As he lay down to sleep, he smiled, and so did his underwear, because they had finally found somebody who wasn't scared of creepy underwear. The end. For now.
This is a Halloween story, and it's called Turkey Trick or Treat. Check the description for the rest of the Turkey Trouble books. You're gonna love it. Let's go. The moon was full. The air was crisp. It was a perfect Halloween night. Turkey and the other animals watched the trick-or-treaters come and go at Farmer Jake's house.
Trick or treat!
"Oh, you look so cute. I mean, spooky," said Farmer Jake's wife, Edna. "Here are some special Halloween treats for you." Edna gave out treats. The animals all stared. Oh, how they loved treats.
It's utterly unfair.
Complained Cow.
Why can't we trick or treat too?
"We don't have any costumes," Pig grunted.
Turkey is great at making costumes.
Crowed Rooster.
Maybe he can get candy for us.
The animals all looked at Turkey. Suddenly, Turkey had an idea. "I'll be a gobble gobble ghost." His costume wasn't bad. In fact, Turkey looked just like a ghost. Almost. He floated all the way to Farmer Ben's house. Turkey shivered and shook.
Trick or treat!
Farmer Ben's son looked at Turkey.
I can see through this trick. Halloween tricks aren't for turkeys. I'm booting you out.
"Oh, gobble, gobble," grumbled Turkey. Turkey needed a new costume. "What now?" he asked the other animals.
How about a ballerina?
Bleated Sheep. His costume wasn't bad. In fact, Turkey looked just like a ballerina. Almost. Turkey danced all the way to Farmer Jones' house. Turkey did a perfect pirouette.
Trick or treat!
"Well, this trick is too much," said Farmer Jones' daughter. "Turkeys don't get treats. Go leap with the sheep." "Oh, gobble, gobble," groaned Turkey. "I need a better idea."
Shiver moo timbers. How about a pirate?
Said Cow. His costume wasn't bad. In fact, Turkey looked just like a pirate. Almost. He sailed all the way to Farmer Fred's house. Turkey swashbuckled his sword.
Trick or treat.
Yo, ho, hold on,
said Farmer Fred.
No tricks for turkeys. You can't hook me.
Oh, gobble, gobble, moaned Turkey. Who has a better idea?
I've got it. The Nay neighbors would love a superhero,
said Horse. His costume wasn't bad. In fact, Turkey looked just like a superhero. Almost. He zoomed all the way to Farmer Ann's house. Turkey stood tall, puffed up his chest, and flapped his cape in the breeze.
Trick or treat!
I don't need X-ray vision to see this trick,
Farmer Ann said.
Halloween tricks are not for turkeys. Fly away.
Oh, gobble, gobble,
howled Turkey.
I'll never get any candy.
Time was running out. The animals rushed to think of more costumes. But nothing seemed right. Until Mabel Mayberry squinted at Turkey through her thick glasses. Before he could say a word, she exclaimed,
Well, fluff my feathers. I've never seen such a marvelous costume. You look so real. You can have all the rest of my treats.
Treats are for turkeys. Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Happy Halloween,
called Turkey.
And treats are for pigs and sheep and cows and horses and roosters too, he said.
It was the best Halloween ever. The end. How I Met My Monster. Written by Amanda Knoll, illustrated by Howard McWilliam. These books are fun. It's a different take on the whole monster under the bed theme, and I really enjoy them. I've gotten a lot of requests to read these books. I will post the rest of the videos in the description below as I release them. But for now, let's enjoy this one. Come along and read with me. Let's go. One night, when I reached under the bed for my truck, I found this note instead. Monsters, meet here for final test. Z. Ha! My parents were obviously trying to trick me into staying in bed. I didn't believe in monsters. So I crumpled the paper, grabbed my truck, and zipped over to my garage. I heard some creaking and rumbling, but I wasn't scared. Our house always made noises at night. But then a voice from under the bed scolded, "Stop that stomach rumbling. The child will hear you." Voices? Stomach rumbling? If this was part of my parents' trick, it was pretty cool. I peered into the inky blackness. 5 pairs of eyes blinked back. "See? Now he knows we're here," the voice sighed. "One of you has broken monster rule number 1. Maintain the element of surprise." This is no trick, I thought. There are monsters under my bed. A long-necked yellow monster slid out, followed by 4 little monsters. "Rule number 2, the yellow one instructed. Never block the bed. All of you, scoot over." Hey, I realized, that one must be their teacher. I sat up straight, mesmerized by the monster parade shuffling across my bedroom. "That's better," the teacher monster said. "Access to the bed is clear. Now, who knows rule number 3? The purple monster teetered on his tiptoes and gurgled,
Get the child into bed.
"That's correct, Genghis. And how would you do that?"
Well, Mr. Z, I would roar my scariest roar.
"All right, give it a go." Genghis took a deep breath, opened his mouth, and let out a tiny blurp. Stomach rumbling would have a better chance of getting me into bed than that funny little noise, I laughed. "The child is right," said Mr. Z, shaking his head. "That was not sufficiently scary. Genghis, I'm sorry. You're not the best monster for this child. There was some creaking as Genghis slunk beneath the bed. Before I could investigate where Genghis had gone, Mr. Z asked, "Now, who wants to try to get the child into bed?" The orange monster looked at the ceiling and the red monster looked at the floor. Only the green one looked at me. First, he stared at my toes and started drooling. Then he took a step toward me and I heard that rumbling noise again. I sprang into bed so he couldn't get to my feet. Mr. Z blinked. "Very unconventional, Gabe. Your stomach gurgles seem to be what this child needs." What I needed was to make sure this little Gabe monster didn't eat my toes. "Right, you three. The child is now in bed," said Mr. Z. "As every monster knows, the ultimate objective is rule number 4. Who can tell me what that is?" The orange monster bounced and squeaked.
Keep the child in bed until it falls asleep.
Correct, Morgan. And how would you accomplish that?
Shadow puppets, shadow puppets!
She squeaked again. Gabe whistled through his nose and I snickered. But Mr. Z said, "Interesting idea. Try it." Morgan hopped onto my table and flailed her arms near my lamp. Silly shadows blobbed onto the wall and a cloud of fluffy fur tickled my nose.
Achoo!
"Morgan, stop at once," Mr. Z ordered. "You're supposed to scare him, not make him sneeze." "I'm sorry, but you're not a match either." Morgan's arms flopped to her sides and she scuttled under my bed. There was some more creaking and Morgan was gone. After all that sneezing, I really needed a tissue. Suddenly, a huge shadow of uncut claws loomed across my room. Awesome, I thought, and kind of scary. I froze in place. "Powerful performance, Gabe," said Mr. Z. "But do either of you see a problem?"
"Oh, I know,"
chirped the red monster.
"The child is out of bed again."
"Correct, Abigail," Mr. Z continued. "And one of you must get him back in. Let's revisit rule number 1. Maintain the element of surprise." All at once, poof, the monsters vanished. Then I heard more rumbling. Were they hiding in my closet making noises to scare me? Ha! No! It was only my stomach grumbling and all this excitement was making me hungry. I tiptoed past the closet and peeked out the door. So far, so good. No monsters. Then I stepped over the squeaky stair and sneaked down to the kitchen. As I reached into the pantry, I heard some chattering behind me. I sure hoped it wasn't that toe-loving Gabe. I yanked open the fridge. Ha! It wasn't Gabe. It was just the red monster shivering on the shelf. "Found you!" Ha ha! I laughed. "Nice try, Abigail," said Mr. Z. "But this isn't working. You're not the right monster for this child."
"But Mr. Z,"
she whined,
"it's not my fault he's not scared of me."
"I'm sorry, Abigail. Let's go." Abigail clomped behind Mr. Z. When I heard the creaking, I knew she was gone. I grabbed some crackers and headed upstairs, wondering if Gabe was gone too. I munched all the way down the hall, then went into the bathroom to brush my teeth again. When I opened the door a minute later, Gabe was definitely not gone. He was right there, and he was huge! I charged into my room and slammed the door. When I leaped into bed, I knew my toes were safe. Whew! I was surprised to hear breathing under my bed, ragged breathing and stomach rumbling.
"Hey, kid,"
Gabe growled.
"Good to see ya.
I pulled my covers up tight.
Now, if you don't mind, I'd like to start the evening with an ominous puddle of drool."
I peeked over the edge of the bed. Green ooze spread soundlessly from underneath. Then the bed quivered and Gabe unfurled his spiked tail. Well, this looks quite promising, Mr. Z noted. When I heard some more creaking, I knew Mr. Z was gone. I was alone with Gabe. Gabe loomed over my bed and began sharpening his uncut claws on my bedpost. How'd you get so big? I gasped. Rule number 5, my friend, he explained. People food makes monsters grow. So thanks for the crackers. Got any toes I can munch? I scrunched in my feet so Gabe couldn't get them. This was way better than playing with trucks. No toes tonight, but you can have this, I offered, tossing a stuffed monster off the bed. Gabe dove for it. His soft, comforting snorts filled the room as he snuffled the toy. I shivered. Kid, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship. No other monsters can scare me like you, I giggled. Gabe was the monster for me. His snorts and ooze were perfect. I yawned, then shivered again. I was asleep in no time. The end. Hey kids, check out the description for my playlists and other monster books. And don't forget to read. You know how an apple a day keeps the doctor away? Well, a book a day keeps the monsters away. And that's a real thing, I think. Maybe. But either way, read, okay? Bye-bye. Hello, Book Leaguers, parents, teachers, and caregivers. Welcome to Book League Storytime Adventures. For my next book, I'm going to read Little Blue Truck's Halloween. This is a really fun and wholesome book, just like all of the Little Blue Truck books. In this book, on Little Blue's Drive, he encounters animals wearing masks. Who are they? We'll find out. Let's go. Little Blue Truck and his good friend Toad are going to a party just down the road. Beep, 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 says Little Blue. It's Halloween. You come too. Who's that in a tutu, striking a pose up on the tiniest tips of her toes? Under the mask, who do you see?
Quack!
Says Duck.
It's me! It's me!
Who's this clown with a big red nose and a cap that jingles wherever he goes? Under the mask, who do you see? Says Sheep. It's me! It's me! Who's this queen with a golden crown and sparkling jewels in a velvet gown? Under the mask, who do you see? Moo, says Cow. It's me, it's me. What scraggly hair? What funny teeth? Who is hiding underneath? Under the mask, who do you see?
Oink!
Says Pig. It's me, it's me. There's a fancy feather on the pirate's hat. Who's dressed up in a hat like that? Under the mask, who do you see? Says Hen. It's me, it's me. A dragon's head and dragon wings. Who's that wearing those dragon things? Under the mask, who do you see? Says Horse. It's me, it's me. Says Toad. There's just one more. Has anyone seen this ghost before? Off comes the sheet. It's you-know-who. Little Blue Truck says, beep, beep, boo.
In a world filled with more crayons than you can count, one crayon promises to turn Jasper Rabbit into a straight-A student. But what will it cost him? Aaron Reynolds and Peter Brown present
Creepy Crayon!
Warning, if you are scared or have ever been scared of purple pointy perfect crayons, please consider watching a less terrifying video. Viewer discretion is advised. Jasper Rabbit was struggling in school. He was flunking math. He was failing spelling. The only subject he was passing was art. Jasper needed serious help. That's when he found the crayon. It was purple, pointy, and perfect. And somehow, it looked happy to see him. That night, Jasper knew he had to study for a spelling test. But Tales from the Carrot Patch was on. By the time it was over, he was way too tired to study. The test was a disaster. Jasper couldn't remember how to spell a single word. That's when he noticed something strange. Jasper picked up the crayon. Immediately, he spelled all the words correctly. When he got his test back, he got an A+ and a sticker. The crayon looked pleased, creepy, but cool. After dinner, Jasper settled in to play Bunny Brawl 3.
Math homework first,
said Dad. Fine, moaned Jasper. That's when he saw it, scrawled in a peculiar purple penmanship.
Who needs math when you have Bunny Brawl 3?
3 hours later, he fell asleep. His game in one hand, the purple crayon in the other. When Mrs. Lopshire announced a surprise math quiz, Jasper panicked. He reached for a pencil, but instead his hand wrapped around the crayon. Suddenly, math seemed easy. He knew when to carry the one. He knew when to borrow from the bigger numbers. It was like the crayon knew exactly what to do. After the quiz, he saw it, written on his backpack.
Jasper plus crayon forever!
Jasper felt a shiver go up his spine. The next day was the deadline for the poster contest. Jasper had been working on his entry for weeks. It just needed a few finishing touches. The purple crayon rolled across the table, all by itself. But Jasper ignored it.
Don't ignore me!
He shuddered. He scrubbed the writing off the table. He zipped the crayon into his pencil case. He tried to forget all about the crayon. But when he woke up, his precious artwork was better than ever. It was a horrifying masterpiece in purple.
Fantastic work, cried Mr. Hoppypot. You should be very proud.
But Jasper didn't feel proud. He felt eked out, freaked out, creeped out. When he got home, Jasper descended into the deepest, darkest corner of his basement. He put the crayon in a dusty box. Locked it tight. He went to bed feeling much better. But when he woke up the next day, there! On the mirror!
You need me!
In his pencil case, the creepy crayon. And it looked happy to see him. That day, Jasper got all A+. It was terrible. Enough was enough. Jasper snapped the creepy crayon in two, melted it in the microwave, and he threw the mess into the garbage. He drifted to sleep that night, feeling relieved. But when he woke up, there, on his wall. It was a mural of him graduating elementary school with straight A's. And worst of all, it was really well drawn. And next to it, the creepy crayon. Purple, pointy, and perfect. All day, no matter what Jasper did, the creepy crayon was there, looking oh so pleased. In his hand, as he aced his vocabulary quiz. In his pocket, as Mrs. Lopshire named Jasper a most improved student. In the crowd, as the school celebrated Jasper in a special assembly. Things were spinning out of control. Jasper couldn't take it anymore. When he got home, he ran straight to the toilet. And he threw the crayon in. It just floated there, spinning slowly. It did not look happy to see him. And then Jasper saw it, scribbled inside the bowl. Don't you dare! But Jasper dared. That evening, Tales from the Carrot Patch was on, but Jasper studied for his spelling test. His eyes kept darting to his pencil case. No creepy crayon. He flung the toilet lid up. No creepy crayon. He got into bed, nervously watching his walls. No creepy crayon. During the test, Jasper spelled ocean wrong, but he spelled courage right. He got a C+. It was glorious. It wasn't an A, but it was his. He headed home from school that day, finally feeling free. Far, far away was an old sewer pipe. Out and away floated the purple crayon. Slowly, silently, it drifted for days and weeks. One thing was clear, the creepy crayon would never cause trouble ever again. Except that's when Elliot Pelican spotted the creepy crayon. It was purple, pointy, and perfect. And somehow, it looked happy to see him. The end. For now!
Are You My Monster? Written by Amanda Knoll. Pictures by Howard McWilliam. Read with permission from Flashlight Press. Check out the description for the other My Monster books. They're all great, they're funny, and they're cool. I'm looking forward to reading this one. Let's go. This is my monster. He has sharp teeth, scratchy claws, and a long tail. He is green and brown. Are you my monster? You are green, but you do not have sharp teeth, scratchy claws, or a long tail. You are not my monster. Are you my monster? You have scratchy claws and a long tail, but you have no teeth, and you are red. You are not my monster. Are you my monster? You have sharp teeth and scratchy claws, but you do not have a long tail, and you are blue. You are not my monster. Are you my monster? You have sharp teeth, scratchy claws, and a long tail, but you are yellow and orange. You are not my monster. Are you my monster? You have sharp teeth, but you have no claws, and you have no tail, and you are purple. You are not my monster. Are you my monster? You have no teeth, you have no claws, you have no tail, and you are pink. Nothing matches. You are definitely not my monster. Are you my monster? You have a long tail, but you do not have sharp teeth. You do not have scratchy claws, and you are yellow. You are not my monster either. Will I ever find my monster? Are you my monster? You have sharp teeth. Grrr. You have scratchy claws. You have a long tail, and you are green and brown. Yay! You are my monster. I'm so glad I found you. Now I can get to sleep. Good night.
This book is too scary for you. Written by Ashley Ridlon and illustrated by Manfred Calderon.
Do not open this book.
I'm warning you, don't do it. No, really, I would run far, far away if I were you. What was that? See, I'm already scared just talking about this with you. You're still here? Do you like to be scared? Okay, don't say I didn't warn you because this book is too scary for you. Before I start, though, I have a favor to ask. If you see anything scary, like, say, a ghost, will you warn me by yelling, boo? Okay, here we go. On a dark and stormy night. Why would you yell that right after I said dark and stormy? You saw a ghost? Where? Here? Over there? Maybe your eyes are playing tricks on you. Even though you scared me last time when you thought you saw a ghost. This time, I only want you to tell me if you see anything really scary like a witch. Can you point and cackle if you do? Okay. On with the story. On this dark and stormy night, two kids about your age ventured out to trick or treat. Oh no! A witch! Where? Behind the hay? Under the door? Are you tricking me? I don't see anything. Are you trying to distract me from telling you this scary story? I told you it was too scary for you. Should I continue? Okay, I will. But this time, if you see anything else chilling, like a UFO or an alien, save me by yelling, over there! Okay, there was a full moon in the sky, and the wind whistled through the trees. The two trick-or-treaters found themselves on a dark and winding road. What? Where? I only see the moon! I'm sure it was only a plane. I think you are so scared you were imagining things. Let me get on with this, will you? Now, only warn me if you see something really creepy like a bat. Ew, gross. They really creep me out. Shout bat and duck if you see any bats flying. But only if you really see them, okay? Okay. When they got to the end of the long and winding road, they came upon a house. Not just any house, but an old, rickety, haunted house with creaky steps leading up to a door hanging off its hinges. They're in my hair. Wait. I don't feel anything. Where are they? Are you tricking me again? I think you're stalling, so I won't continue telling you my haunting story. See? I told you this story was too scary for you. But it's too late to stop now. We are coming to the end. Now, even though I don't really trust you, there is one more thing you need to warn me about if you see it. But only if you really see it, okay? Okay, good. Shout, woo! If you see any scary jack-o'-lanterns. Those hollowed-out squash heads really freak me out. On with the story! At the back of the house, there was a big corn maze filled with crackling corn stalks. and fallen ears of corn. The children slowly walked into the maze, guided only by the light of the full moon. When they reached the middle, they saw... No, I don't believe you. You have been trying to trick me this entire time. This book might not be too scary for you, but it is for me. Get me out of here.
D is for Drool, my monster alphabet. So if you're having trouble sleeping at night, you can go through the My Monster alphabet and it'll help you go to sleep. It's written by Amanda Knoll and Sherry Greenspan and illustrated by Howard McWilliam. Read with permission from Flashlight Press. Check the description for the other My Monster books, both for younger kids and the older kid books. Let's go. Oof, I can't sleep. My parents tell me to count sheep, but that never works for me. I'll try saying my ABCs. A
Is for arms.
B
Is for belly. Look at my belly.
C
Is for claws. I know you love my claws, kid. Ha ha ha.
D
Is for drool.
E
Is for ear. And earlobe. And earring.
F
Is for fluffy.
G
Is for googly eyes.
H
Is for horns.
I
Is for eyes.
J
Is for jowls. And jumping.
K
Is for kisses.
L
Is for legs. And lashes.
M
Is for mouths.
N
Is for necks.
And noses.
O
Is for ears.
P
Is for pigtails.
Q
Is for quails.
R
Is for rattles.
S
Is for spikes.
T
Is for tentacles.
Tongue.
and tail. U
Is for upside down.
V
Is for vanish.
W
Is for warts. And wings.
X
For exhausted.
Y
Is for and Z is for
Good night, everyone. Sleep tight. So, the next time you have trouble sleeping, go through your alphabet, your monster alphabet, that is, and try reading before bed. That always helps me.